Hey, listen, the ELF has split, basically, right? ELF is done. Now we got the AFLE and we got the EFA. Which one are we going to cover? It's official. Athletes Forum Podcast. We are back. It's been a long time since I've talked to you guys. It's been a long time since we chopped it up in the locker room, since we chopped it up here in the comment section, right? But don't get it twisted. We're back in action. I texted my guy Breslington the other day. It's like, are we back, bro? Are we back to covering the league, right? Fourth down fiasco, they've been making some noise, right? They've been covering both leagues, the good, the bad, the ugly, and I've been here every step of the way, loving it. Shout out to those guys, right? All eyes are on Europe. Shout out to Fourth Down Fiasco. Listen, we're back. There's so much we want to dive into, right? There's so much to talk about. I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, like the video, share with a friend. Listen, this is going to be an exciting time, right? This is the first episode. And just to kind of give you an idea, this year, when we do Athletes Forum Podcast, we are teaming up with my guys over at First Down Magazine, right? So go subscribe to their YouTube channel. Go subscribe to our channel, right? And we're going to be coming every Tuesday going forward for the rest of the season until both these leagues figure out their schedule, because we may do multiple shows a week. But from now on, every Tuesday, you'll be tuning in to Athletes Forum Podcast. You'll be tuning in to those Tier Tuesdays by Matt Breslington. The next day, we got Fourth Down Fiasco, right? And listen, we got a lineup coming for you. So let's kind of dive into what's been going on briefly, right? I don't want to get too deep into that. I don't want to get into the weeds of the good, the bad, the ugly of what's going on in both leagues. I kind of want to talk about what to look forward to and kind of get this thing rolling on an exciting trend going forward. So, but before we do that, ELF officially out the window. It doesn't matter what Zelko does. It's over. Night-night. They had a good 5-year run. They gave Europe hope in regards to what professional football in Europe could look like. They created the standard. They're out the way. Now we got 2 leagues. Will these 2 leagues coexist at one point, right? Because I don't think you can have 2 professional football leagues and really get the best product on the field, right? So this year we're going to get the AFLE, we're going to get the EFA. We'll see ultimately if they eventually come one, right? Because we'll see who wins the battle, right? We'll see who wins the battle, right? You got one league that's very top heavy, right? With 3 teams probably that are going to run it. You got another league that seems to be a little bit more balanced, right? You guys make of that what you want to make of it. But this is what the post ELF is going to look like going forward, right? So now we have to re-ingrain ourselves. We have to revigorate ourselves in getting ready for what this season is going to look like. Again, we're coming to you Thursday, but we're gonna be going on every Tuesday going forward, right? So what I want to do is I want to kind of talk about and dive into briefly, right? This is just a brief episode, briefly of what we could look forward to going forward with, the excitement of both leagues, I guess, right? Both leagues. So let's dive into it here, right? What we got here? Listen, it's been a fun offseason, right? Teams are kind of building really solid teams with depth, a lot of talent that's being spread out, right? And that could be because of numbers. It could be because we lost some teams, right? Rest in peace, Cologne. Rest in peace, Helvetic, right? Whatever they decide to do in Switzerland, I don't think we'll hear from Helvetic. Rest in peace, the Anthronas, the ELF Anthronas. Rest in peace to the champs. Stuttgart Surge going out on top. It's a shame they had to go, but the way they went out, they at least went out on top. But now what do you do with all that talent? Because now all that talent is being dispersed, going to Rhine, going to Vienna, going to Rostock, right? And it's gonna create more parity in this league, because now you're not going to have teams that are loaded with talent, but you're going to have teams that are loaded with depth, right? And that's something that we're going to be excited about. We've been arguing for years about the parity and competitive balance, right? With the ELF, we're going to get a better product one way or another, right? With one of these leagues, maybe both of them, heading into the season. So that's something we should be excited about. Have you guys checked the return list? Have you guys seen who is coming back to Europe? I can only yet to be signed. I can only imagine Glenn Tunga's coming back from his Achilles injury, coming back to the North Storm, right? Doesn't it feel just right to have Zach Magic Edwards back in Paris, back where it all began, when the franchise was born, right? And when the league was started, one of the OG quarterbacks that grew with this league. Doesn't it feel right to have him back in Paris, the brightest light in Paris, right? Going to play for the Musketeers. Doesn't that feel right? Doesn't it feel right to have Aaron Jackson back in the mix, right? Could have been a Helvetic mercenary. Thank God he wasn't, because I would have hated for him to experience the type of season they just went through. But now he's back in the mix, playing for the Raiders in the silver and black, right? A team that two of his former teammates he played with in the GFL played for, right? And Christian Strong and Jarvis McClam going to play for the Raiders with Max Kuser, with that talent surrounded him. I'm excited to see what that looks like, right? The return list is lethal, right? The return list is lethal. Listen, we already talked about Magic a little bit, but Del Rio comes back in the mix, right? I got to tell you, and we'll dive into each team separately, but Paris is building a squad. You talk about a team where we've questioned, or at least I've questioned, the defensive back talent. And last year, they definitely took a step as a whole as a defense. But, man, they're looking dangerous. Right? Del Rio, Paris, they're back in the mix. And listen, don't get it twisted. The Rostov Panthers are putting on a show when it comes to off-season signings. They are gaining a surge of talent, right? And this has been a team that's always been like on that brink line of like being good, but not really good enough. They're good enough. Right now, currently constituted, they're good enough. Obviously, you bring in Jamison Wang, Mike Hurley Jr. from the Surge, right? Jamison Wang is going to complement David Brzozowski much better than DJ Irons did last year. And that's not a knock on DJ. It's just scheme and fit. Jamison Wang will complement this offense better than DJ did last year. So I'm excited to see what that looks like. And listen, they might not have a DB problem in Rostov, right? They got a lot of depth coming into the mix. I'm excited to see what that looks like, right? As we mentioned, the departure of teams is what's going to create a lot of parity throughout this league, right? Throughout both leagues, right? So it's going to be interesting to see. And like I said, I'll dive into teams, separately down the road. Maybe we'll get into one next week, right? But we're here to kind of talk about what to be excited about heading into Europe this season, right? Listen, I may even cover some CEFL. I'm not going to lie to you, right? Shout out to the Kelowna Broncos, right? We're trying to pull one through. I might even cover them. But in the meantime, the AFLE and the EFA are going to get the benefit of that of being the top dogs, right, in Europe going into this season, right? There's still a lot we got to figure out. We need to figure out scheduling. We need to figure out championship games. How long is the season? When does the season start, right? And it's going to be interesting to kind of see how it pans out, right? I tell you what, when I look at, there's still some signings that need to be done in the AFLE, right? I know Ben Holmes is returning to Vienna. I know Jamison Wang is going to the Rostov Panthers. And I know they just signed, Ryan Fire just signed a UFL guy. Forgetting him off the top of my head, my apologies, right? Speaking of Ryan Fire, they're doing a lot good and bad, right? Good signings on the field, not taking care of a player off the field. They're doing some things, right, to keep an eye on. But when I'm just comparing quarterback talent from one league to another, right, the EFA, listen, I'm looking at a team that has currently constituted Jadrian Clark, Jalen Henderson, Zach Magic Edwards, Nathan Garbers, Russell Taylor, Tyler Knopp, for the Raiders, right? I'm sure I'm missing somebody off the top of my head. But this is Frankfurt. Actually, they don't have a quarterback at the moment. But listen, that is a league that has some quarterbacks, right? And if you have a quarterback, at least in Europe, your team's going to be in the mix. And if your team's in the mix, that means we're going to see some good competition. Because there are some teams that are making some signings, right? Another thing, throughout all this drama with the ELF dropping, and now it forms into 2 new leagues. Now they want to give us London. Now they want to rebirth Milan, right? I'm even hearing things about Monaco, right? So if there's one thing I want these leagues to learn from what the ELF try to do is don't expand too fast, but if you're going to expand, 1, make sure you're vetting ownership. 2, make sure you're setting that team up for success. And I don't mean success like financially, because that'll come if everything is right off the field. I mean success with being able to acquire homegrown talent or the capabilities of acquiring homegrown talent to make them competitive, right? I think from everything I'm hearing about London and players from London and homegrown from London, London's going to be fine. Milan and the Monacos are the ones I'm curious about, are the ones I'm worried about. Even the Alpine Rams. I'm not calling them Alpine. I'm American. Even the Alpine Rams, right? And what that looks like. Granted, they've been building a good team, but I need to see more trenches-wise. Outside of that, I like the Kevin Kaya signing. I like the Chad Walren signing, right? They've been getting a lot of good guys also. You know, DeMarco Irish is coming back, right? Devin Burrell, right? They got some guys in there, but I need to see more from the homegrown talent. And kudos to coach / GM Fitzgerald. I think he's done a good job at getting guys to believe in their vision for what the Alpine Rams are going to look like. And it's going to be curious to see. But again, I already said it. I need to see what the plan is and how it's going to be different going forward before I get emotionally invested. You guys know I played in Switzerland, right? So I've dealt with Helvetic guards, Helvetic mercenaries, and Helvetic in general, right? So we'll see how that goes. But again, fair warning to leagues. If you're going to expand, I'm all for it. Just make sure you're setting that team up for success or to have success with a great foundation and vetting ownership. That's all I got to say. All right, before we head out, because again, I just wanted to talk about things that, you know, we can be excited about going forward, right? Athletes Forum Podcast, we're back in action. I want to give you a name to keep an eye on, right? I'm going to give you Bernhard Sikovitz, tight end for Vienna, replacing Florian Bierbaumer, who was in the UFL. Bernhard played for Arizona over, I think, 3 or 4 years, right? This was only bound to happen. I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier, but for good reason it didn't happen because he was playing in the NFL. This was going to happen at some point, right? So Vienna doesn't miss a beat. If anything, they might have upgraded. And it's hard to think you're going to upgrade with a homegrown talent from Florian Bierbaumer, but they might have upgraded, right? Another name I want you to keep an eye on. Raiders' new quarterback, Max Kusler, and coach Sean Fatah got their guy in Tyler Knopp. Tyler Knopp played at Stony Brook, right? Shout out to a couple other Stony Brook guys. Stony Brook alum, right? Gene Constant, former Stony Brook alum. DeJohn Owens, I believe, former Stony Brook alum. Shout out to those guys. Tyler Knopp, from what I've seen on film in Brexington, I know you're watching. I hope you're watching. You let me know what you think. Accurate, right? He'll stand in the pocket, like look death in the eye, right? And throw an accurate ass ball. I'm excited to see how all this pans out. Listen, Athletes Forum Podcast, drop a comment, let me know what you think. We're here, and we're here with First Down Magazine. We back, baby.